Happy Tuesday, Bravehearts, and welcome to Doc Talk Live Q&A. I'm Dr. Daryl Wolf, and what we're going to do today is I'm going to talk about something that's so important, and it's called, are you ready? The Highway to Hell, okay? Spelled Hell-th. And when I say this, and when I say things, understand something. We've all been ruled, schooled, and fooled. We've been duped, okay? Whether you believe it or not, the whole educational program, whether you're talking about going to school or even natural health or medical health or whatever you want, it's all toxic. It's all toxic. I mean, and some things are more toxic than others, as we know, right? Like everything. I mean, you have to look at everything as a vibration. You have to look at everything as how much light does it have in it, right? How high vibrational is this training? How high vibrational is this school? How high vibrational is this person? And understand something. I talked about this on a one-a-day, that there were three types of people. The leaf people, the branch people, and the root people. And understand something. This last 3 weeks, has been, boot camp, brain boot camp for me. I've had to do brain gymnastics and understand something. Because the reality is this, if you want to find your authentic self, if you want to climb higher and higher, go deeper and deeper within inside yourself, you do know that the more you do that, you eliminate what we call, herd mentality. You do know that if you break from the herd, or if you're too different from the herd, you will get in trouble. I hope you do realize that 99% of the population has been duped, and they will maybe stay there. They will maybe stay there. You know, everybody wants to believe that there's this chariot going to come out of the sky or down the road or to save us. That's not going to happen. There's no difference between the red and the blue guy, okay? There's no difference. Look at the stuff that we get involved in. Look at the stuff that we drain our energy with. If you're not feeling well right now, or you're sick, or you have a disease, it's not your fault, but just know that you had to have a sick thought. You had to have a diseased thought, okay? If you're not well, then your thoughts are not well. And for the majority of the population, their thoughts will only be good. You ever talk to people? How you doing? Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How about great? I was talking to a lady today in England, and she said, I'm doing good. That's what she says all the time. And I just said, oh my gosh. You know what? People say good when they're just barely getting along. Words have power. You don't want to talk, eat, drink, or think like 99% of the population. I'm telling you, wait a minute. No, I don't want to. Maybe you do. Maybe you need to fit in. But I promise you that if you fit in, you'll get done in. But I promise you that if you don't fit in, you may find your authentic self and find that inner standing of power, but you will be tested. Look, I've got practitioners that come to train with me, and they're part of the leaf people. You know, they can last a season and then they go do something else. It's very difficult for someone to hold their passion, their purpose, their focus. Passion, their purpose, their focus. It is really difficult. And when people leave and they say, one day they say, oh my God, I just always wanted to be a practitioner. I didn't realize that I didn't even have to finish high school. That's right. There are no rules. And those are rules for fools. And guess what? Something. You know what, really? You think that the more longer you go to an academic school, the more brilliant you're going to be and the more you are a healer? Well, for one thing, I'm not a healer. For one thing, my body heals itself. For one thing, all I do is teach alignment and unconditional love and care. The body heals itself. When you get a cut or a scratch, you don't think about that because you know it's going to heal. So why don't you think about that with cancer? Well, because cancer has a very, very negative word to it. and because they want you to be on the road to hell, and they want you to stay there. Whether you believe it or not, there's a whole species of people that live on this planet that feed off of us emotionally, and they get off on our good emotions. But when we're at war with ourselves, our neighbors, or other countries, when we're spilling blood, when we are angry, fearful, sad, jealous, okay, that's when they have an orgasm. They do. That's orgasmic for them. And guess what? I will share everything that I have with everyone, but I will make sure that I keep the right people close to me and those at arm's length away. You can believe this or not believe this. I had a conversation with my team, and they are my team, and without them I would not be here. I cannot do this on my own, whatever this is. Maybe you'll find out if you join us long enough and strong enough. But the reality is this: it takes a team. It takes a team that has to have passion and purpose. And understand, you're not going to find passion and purpose, the same passion and purpose in your family or even in a relationship with someone that you love. You know, the most difficult road is the inner road, and it's the road to your authentic self. And most people will never take that trip. It's a scary trip, but it shouldn't be. So the leaf people will be with me for not long. Because guess what? Soon as the wind blows too strong or it gets a little cold or chilly, right? They got to run to somewhere warm, which means their comfort zone, which probably isn't comfortable. But because your prominent dominant beliefs rule your life, you're going to go there. And then we have the branch people. But even the branch people, you know, they're here. And, you know, you got to test them because you don't know if you can stand on that branch. You don't want it to break and fall. But the reality is that you test the branch out, and then you don't ask the branch to take more weight than it can hold. So that's where you've got to be kind and considerate and allow people to grow at their own speed. So I get that. I don't want to push people to become something that they're not ready to become. And then you have the root people. Well, they just root in. They get it. Your vibration links up with theirs, and they just can't get enough. They can't get enough of that unconditional love stuff. And they want it. And they crave it. And everybody in the root people, you know what they're doing? They're rooting in. They're rooting in because they know that they're rooting for their spirit, because we are spirit beings. The more physically oriented we are, the more that we want stuff. The big house, okay, the cars. Oh, I want a car. I want a car that's reliable. I don't need a headache. Okay, I want to have a place that I can do my videos right from where I live. I want a place that, you know, it's my fun center, my passion center. It's, you know, you have to build the world you want. And you have to want it bad enough that you have focused long and strong enough that you get this. There's nothing selfish about that. The highway to hell is for 99% of the population. And because they don't know that they were programmed. I do my own programming now. I've been teaching Whole Life Coach now since I was 28 years old. It was my first course. I'll be 67 in August. The reality is this, I'm only getting started. The reality is this, you got to take one step at a time, I get it. But make sure you're taking one step forward at a time, and when you fall forward and pick yourself up quickly and go, yeah, I got this. Nobody's coming to save you. Be the hero. Be the hero of your story. If you want to eat a certain way, you do it. If you want to talk a certain way, you do it. Don't look for approval from anyone. And don't take things personal. Let me tell you something. Tomorrow I have a major, okay, television person coming here to help me create Wolf Studios. Why am I doing this? For my ego? people would think that. If you knew how basic I live, I just love where I live. I love Ixtapa, Zihuatanejo, Mexico. We have a 5-star healing clinic here. And then we have a treatment center separate to that, so people who just want treatments. And whether you believe this or not, I'm working on trying to create financial abundance, okay, without greed, okay, without desperation. Do you know why? Because do you know what my desire is? To actually open up a clinic and help people that really don't know how to do this and actually do it for free. Now you might say, oh, well, you know, that's like wanting peace in the world. Well, there's never going to be peace in the world. And as long as you want peace in the world, there's always going to be war. And there's always going to be war, and there's always going to be peace. There might be peace over here, but always war over there. Tell me I'm wrong. Why don't you go back to the beginning of time? It's all been a setup. It's just a game. I'm not looking for peace. I'm looking for alignment. I'm looking for it to be neutral. Let me tell you, if you want to stand in your own power and eat, drink, and think high vibrationally, don't think it's not going to come without bumps in the road. So just slow down, connect to your breath, and don't take it personal. Don't take it personal that you want to become your authentic self. Do not take it personal. My God. Look how I set myself up coming on here, right? And I do, but I'm not trying to set myself up. You know what? I said to myself, you know what? There's nowhere better to tell the world that you will give them as much love and care as you possibly can without draining yourself. And I'm not a preacher. I'm not going to save anybody. I'm not going to heal anybody. People have to heal themselves. Do I have strategies that are very powerful for alignment, to bring your frequency up, to actually feel like, wow, this is amazing. Oh my God. And I know I do. I mean, how many practitioners do you know give a money-back guarantee on consultations, treatments, trainings, and certifications? And I do that because you know what? I'm trying to teach people something. It's not ego. I'm trying to tell you that you haven't even tapped into 1% of your potential. Oh my God. Oh my God. You were created by God Almighty. So let's act like it. Let's stand in our power. Every day, just take one more step, 1% more, standing in your power. You're not standing against anybody because you want to love and care, honor and respect yourself. But people are going to think so because they don't think so. They don't think so. They don't think. Everybody runs with their beliefs. Action, reaction. I smell a cookie, I eat a cookie. Okay? It's the weekend, I drink beer or alcohol. I get stressed out, I toke, I have to calm down. If I'm a smoker, I get stressed, or if I need to think and I want to come up with a good idea, I'll go have a cigarette, but guess what? I can't because it steals 30 to 40% of my brain power, so I never do have an answer after I smoke, because everything is just so robotic. Our subconscious is totally robotic. And I believe it was manipulated by the species that I said that lived down here, okay, in a laboratory. And then you're going to go, wow, he's a crackpot. But guess what? Matrix wasn't a movie. That was real life. And guess what? Monsters, Inc. was not a cartoon. And yes, I am a real boy. Okay, the reality is this, is that if I am going to be and exist on this plane, then I am going to be like a plane, and I am going to rise higher and higher, okay? And what does that mean? That just means in vibration. It doesn't mean anything else. Vibrationally, staying neutral no matter what goes on. Think about it. If you could stay neutral on no matter what was going on in your life, oh my God, look how much energy you wouldn't burn. Look how many things you wouldn't break, like relationships, or china, or plates. Look how many headaches you wouldn't have. Oh my God, just think of all the knots you wouldn't have in your abdominal tract, your digestive tract. Wouldn't that be something? But the reality is most people don't get it. All these stores on every corner, these convenience stores, they're conveniently making our children sick, rotting out their teeth so they can get silver fillings, which are, what? 47% mercury. Okay? So that the mercury will then go in and deaden their pineal gland along with the fluoride that the dentist gives them. Dentists are terrorists. Dentists are causing more damage, okay, on this planet than almost any other profession. I mean, medical system and the dentistry, holy crap, together. Oh my God, chaos. Okay, you know, take your antibiotics no matter what. You got a gum infection in here, so you need to take an antibiotic to have it blow up in your large intestine and destroy your immune system and your good bacteria. They shouldn't be taken unless you're in a life-threatening situation, or else they'll put you there. This is all just too ridiculous for me. I keep wondering to myself, how long will it be before I just go, I'm just going to go fishing, even though I don't go fishing. You know the old saying, I'm just going to go fishing. Believe it or not, living in Mexico is one of the nicest things I've ever done. I'm barefoot all the time. I wear shorts all the time. Even when I'm working and I'm so busy, it's sunshine all the time. How many people know that just above the 55th parallel, go look it up, just above the 55th parallel, nobody's getting vitamin D. From the beginning of fall, from the 1st of September, okay, until summer. So you get like 8 weeks to 6 weeks of actual vitamin D. If you didn't look at it, you know, this is why people don't even know this. You've got to take vitamin D. And then guess what? When I was little, it was 400 IUs of vitamin D. 400 IUs of vitamin D. Now it's 800 IUs of vitamin D. But meanwhile, you see them, they're made 1,000, 5,000, 50,000. Listen, I have what's called a vitamin D light. And then I've got pure crystal panels. And I use that every day, even though I've got sunshine every day. Because guess what? I want to be the light of my life. I need to charge up my battery. You know, most of you will take like 400 or 800. Or if you know, I'll give somebody, how much should I take, Dr. Wolf? Well, I don't know. If I was stressed out, I'd be taking 50,000 twice a day with a vitamin K. One vitamin K and 50,000 twice a day. And when it's really dark up in Canada, or when it's really cold and dark, I mean, I just told you, if you're up past the 55th parallel, and that's a major part of the population. And guess what? The people on the 55th parallel, they're not getting much at all. I mean, you're not really getting vitamin D until you get down to the lower parts of the tip of Florida. Okay, closer you get to the equator, the more vitamin D you get. That's why the cancer rates drop. That's why people that just drink and eat garbage, they're not as sick. Because of the vitamin D, because vitamin D is not a vitamin. It's a hormonal balancer. It's a immunomodulator. That's what it is. And guess what? If I told someone to go, okay, when you're really stressed out, take 50,000 in the morning, 50,000 at night. We sell them, but you can find them maybe somewhere else. And take 1K. When they do it, they go, oh my God, I can't believe it. The flu went just like that. Oh my God, the stress levels came down just like that. And then guess what? If they take the 50,000 IUs of vitamin D, and then they go and they get their blood tested, the doctor's going to go, oh my God, you're in a critical situation. You know, a vitamin D overdose, you could die. What a bunch of BS. How much should I swallow? You know, there's a lot of practitioners that just ignore things. I just want to fit in. I just want to make enough money. I just want to be popular. Well, I don't want to be unpopular, but the reality is I'm not going to change. And if it gets too much to be on here to tell the truth, the God's truth, I'll go fishing. That's what I'll do. But right now, okay, I'm going to tell you something. They got you on the hook because they've been fishing you for a long time and gutting you. And I'm telling you right now, when's the last time you heard that somebody died of a vitamin D overdose? Are we like crazy? So the actual medical doctor that you think is a health doctor that actually believes that 800 IUs is what you need, no matter where you live, really. And then, you know what, the other thing I've got to tell you, everybody, I don't mind you calling me. You can call me, you can even talk about it, but please, everybody is test nuts. I have not went for a test since I was 19 years old. Not a blood test, urine test, stool test, X-ray. I am the test. You are the test. If you understood that your body has body talk and it just loves you, and every bit of pain and suffering that you have is just an emotion of love. I love you. Can you respect us? We are 50 trillion cells, 500 trillion bacteria that have come together as a community to create this experience down here called planet Earth. So you've been taught to run away from pain. You've been taught to hate pain. So, and guess what? Pain is just a GPS that tells you you're off track, and most you're off track. And guess what? Lack of energy is another symptom that you're off track, and you're too focused on what's wrong in your life, and that'll drain any battery. It's like leaving the lights on every night when you come home. You park the car, and you just walk, and you go in the house, and you leave the ding-dang lights on, and you know your battery's going to be dead. But most of you don't understand that it's your personality that's creating this reality of highway to hell. What, do you actually think that your personality was God-given? Or was it man-made driven? 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 Do you know why I repeated it? Because when you go to school, they'll repeat things long enough and strong enough to break your spirit. They will more than humble you down. They will make you feel like you have no value. Let me tell you something. Between my parents, God love them, between the school and between going to my church, okay, I was finished. By the time I was 12, I was done. I was done. I was then the rebel. And that was it. And thank God that I was like that. My father was a born-again Christian pastor who was a carpenter, and God loved him too. And my mother. And we all had a tough upbringing. Because on this planet, our beautiful parents were never taught how to love and care for themselves. So they couldn't do it for us. If you can't have unconditional love for yourself, you cannot hold unconditional love for your children. And if you go to a church that doesn't believe in unconditional love and believes in judgment or justice, what the hell does that even mean? Justice, judgment. It's unconditional love and unconditional care, and that's the only thing that I'm interested in. I'm not interested in any religions. I'm not interested in any followings. Nobody should follow me ever. You should only use my information to crack the coconut, find your authentic self, and just live that brave heart life that you deserve, and I'm telling you. That's the only thing. You know, for the rest of my life, I'm going to do this until I no longer want to do this and go fishing. Gone fishing. You know, the reality is this. I think I actually do this because I know you're going to think I'm lying. I don't know what God is. And people go, what a stupid fool he is. He doesn't know what God is. All he has to do is just open up a book and read. Well, really, like you know. But you think you know. I don't know. I'm going to humble myself down to the fact that I don't know squat. But I will tell you one thing. I am going to continue to do this because I would like to know what that really is. And I may never know what that really is. But I do know one thing. And that's this. The same God that helped to create this planet, the same God that has unconditional love for me, will also let me hurt myself and other people if I choose. Because understand something, I really believe that this here can be the highway to heaven or the highway to hell, depending on what your belief systems are. But they're not your belief systems anyways, and we already talked about that. We already said that your belief systems are not yours. Oh, tell me they're yours. Really? Okay. Well, look at all the things that you do, okay, that you say you'll never do again. Or 1 minute you say one thing and then you do another thing. Why? It's not because you're weak. And understand, willpower will never get you through this. And how many people use willpower to try to heal themselves, to try to forgive themselves, or try to forgive others, or try to change? You can't do that. You got to use love. You got to use unconditional love And you got to buy into unconditional love and care. And if you don't realize it, but behind almost every religion, you're going to hell if you do that. Because that's a sinner's way to go. When sin just means missing the mark. And the mark was unconditional love. For me, maybe not for you. And maybe you never want to come on this platform again. But the reality is I know there's people out there that want to get up in the morning and love their morning. They want to love their moment. And a moment is 1/10,000th of a second, and that's the only place that you have power. Only place that you have power. So how I choose to act, how I choose to react, will decide my life. The choices I make, even though most of us do it unconsciously, is deciding your life. And if you have a disease or an illness or an addiction, just know this. It was forced on you. We have to become conscious. To become conscious means you have to connect to your breath. To actually know that you are breathing. And when you breathe, it brings you into the moment. And that's the point of power. I don't care what goes on in the world. I care about the world I'm creating. Now, I did not say I do not care for the people in the world. I said that what's been going on in the world has always been going on in the world. And whether you believe this or not, 99% of the population, I did say 99% of the population, is not prepared or is going to be able to process what's going to happen in the next 3 years, this flip switch. I want to be able to have a place where they can go to. And that's why 3 years ago I decided to save all my money to create Braveheart Nation app, because people are going to need a place to go to. And I am going to have 60 to 120 different people that talk about different ways of health, stuff that I want, different people in different ethnic groups, different religions, different nationalities around the world, speaking different languages on this, because there's many ways to the top of the mountain, and we're either going to come together or we're going to fall apart. I'm not going to fall apart, no matter what happens. You know, connecting to your breath and owning your breath and owning that slight smile and minding your own business, which I teach, it's called minding your own business, is the most important thing you can do. I'm going to tell everybody right now that starting as of tomorrow, my Braveheart Nation app on Telegram is going to tell the truth. I'm going to be posting videos there that would be taken down this fast. I'm not going to post videos there for fear-mongering, for trying to make money off of you, trying to sway you somewhere. I'm going to be putting videos there that I believe that can at least give you a glimpse and say, be aware. No, not be aware, but get into alignment with yourself, because to be aware actually means to be something that's sold. I'm not going to sell you. Words have power, and you have the power if you really want to take it back, but it may not be this lifetime. It may not be this year, and I'm not forcing anyone to go anywhere or to do anything. But I'm going to continually keep on putting out things out there to help to support people. And I keep mentioning it every show, and I'm going to, because guess what? I believe it's the most powerful take action book around, and it's my PDG guide, okay? And you can download it for free. Just go to pdg.com and go check it out. Let me see here, it's 11:47, so is that the actual time? So what time are we almost over this? We have, when are they coming on, 2 or 3?
3 Eastern.
3 Eastern? So 1 o'clock. Yeah. So we have an hour and 13 minutes. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to have a gentleman come on. He's up there in his years, and he has prostate problems. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to move to my slideshow, and we're just going to talk a little bit. Because if you really want to know the highway to hell, okay, then you need to go into my library and go watch The Holy Grail, Your Large Intestine, and The Highway to Health. Okay? You go watch those two things and then tell me that you learned more when you were in medical school or in naturopathic college than what I'm going to teach in those 3.5 hours. I'm not trying to be a smarty. I'm not trying to be arrogant here. I'm trying to tell you we were all set up. And if you go to any school that was ever government approved or has crossed the line naturally, then I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. And that's the deal right there. I really love this life. If you do not spend time centering yourself, aligning yourself, and staying in a neutral place and then going within inside yourself, you will not like this life. So whether it's prayer, meditation, just quiet with soft music, the birds tweeting, or just silence. And those of you who can't sit in silence, it's because your actual personality, which are made up of belief, right? Beliefs. You didn't make them up. Someone else did, and it was a terrorist. So now you are on autopilot, terrorizing yourself. You can't even be with yourself unless there's a TV or a radio or somebody's with you. Think about it. How's that for trusting yourself, believing in yourself? You should believe in yourself. You should get used to yourself. You should get to love yourself and care for yourself because you're going to be with yourself for eternity. So you do get to decide the ride. If we keep talking about, you don't understand, you don't know what my life is like, you don't know what my life was like, you don't know the hell I went through, you don't know how sick I am. Well, just remember one thing. Anything that you think or speak and the actions you take have created your world. And understand, the so-called experts and the specialists, they create fear. They create weakness within inside of ourselves. You don't need me. You need to find you. You don't need me. You need to find you. Everything I do is about you finding you and saying goodbye to me. Goodbye. Goodbye, Daryl. I got what I needed. That's right, but you didn't. You got what you needed for this step called Daryl. If you wanted to come from my information, I'm not saying that I am the answer for anything. I'm not anybody's answer, but you need to understand. Once you've gone through my library, gone through my book, you've taken my courses, then guess what? You need to move on to a different level. You need to go to someone else. You need to get that. Everybody needs to move on, move on. And guess what? Some people will probably stay. Those people that really want to learn from me, because every day I change 1% every day. I don't know. Why don't you go back and watch my videos? I'm not getting weaker. I'm having more inner strength happening. Between the government attacks, between the media attacks, they're going to keep coming at me, and it's so easy. You know, the reality is this. Somebody can say something good about somebody, and people are usually jealous, or they don't believe it. But somebody can say something that's not even true about somebody, and tell me the majority of the population doesn't believe in it. They do believe in it. They do. Oh my God, really? Is that what he's like? Is that what she's like? Oh my God, did she really do that? Oh, I should have known she was up to something. I had a funny feeling. Did you? This is the many moods of Daryl. So can you tell that, you know, I'm ready to move to that next level, to actually, and that next level isn't to try to get the world on my platform, it's to get the people who believe that they need to make their own world, their own platform, and it starts from the inside out, not from the outside in. Oh yeah, you should check the environment that you live in because it makes a big deal. I can't afford anything else. I gotta live here. I'm stuck in this relationship. I can't get out of it. Oh my God. Really? 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 What we need to do is not pick on anyone, but what we need to do is try to teach people that your belief systems are causing you to be a prisoner. Did you hear me? Your belief systems are imprisoning you, or they're going to free you up. So tomorrow, we design the Wolf Studios. There'll be about 6 different stagings there. This studio will be used for my practitioners and for people who want to create master classes and put them up on Braveheart Nation, the new app. I'm hoping to have 60 to 120 different shows over the next 2 years. Come on, regularly every week, 15 minutes a week. And then I'm looking for people that want to create beautiful master classes and charge really beautiful prices so people can afford it. They're going to choke everyone, okay? Inflation is just another form of taxation, so I understand it's all BS. I would tell you right now that if you had your senses about you, you'd be going on my Braveheart Nation Telegram starting as of tomorrow. I'm going to start posting on there. Not just my shows and memes, but you look through there because they can't kick it off. I'm going to be putting stuff that I really believe in. I'm not going to try to push you anywhere, sell you anything. I need to sell you on you. And just know this, that it's not 99% are going to be prepared. I'd say 1% of 1% are truly going to be prepared for what's going to happen. And thing is that people are going to lose their shit. They are, which means they're going to have inflammation, diarrhea. Okay, they're going to have all kinds of gut problems, headaches. If they have a disease now, it's going to blow right through the roof because of all the stress that they cannot handle because they weren't emotionally prepared to process what's coming for us in the next 2 to 3 years. This is not fear-mongering. I'm already telling you. I have no agenda. I have no agenda. Except to love you anyway. Can you love you anyway? Can you talk nice to yourself? Do you talk down on yourself? Do you make people in your family or the world or your friends responsible because things aren't going your way? Well, they'll never go your way until you go into the right highway. And that highway is your subconscious, which means you've got to crack the coconut from the inside out. That means you've got to learn how to have unconditional love and care for yourself. Anything that judges you, you need to remove. Do we need a, look at, if you have judgment, what do you have? You have to have jail time. So depending on who the judge is will depend on how long your jail time is. And for some of you, you have actually given yourself a life sentence that you might as well tell everybody, hey, you know what? I've given my life sentence that I'm just basically vibrating as a turd and I will beat myself up every day. So nobody needs to do that for me anymore. I'll just do it myself. Start observing. Go in and start doing the Braveheart 12 Loving Steps. It's in the PDG guide, or you can watch it in my library. And understand something. Gosh, you know what? Every time I listen to that guy and he says that I should do this unconditional love thing, I think that if I do that, it's pretty selfish. And if I'm selfish, I don't know. I don't know. I could be a sinner, or I don't know. I don't want people saying I'm selfish. Well, don't worry. Then just fit in with everybody else, which be the majority of the population that will never give themselves enough love and enough care, okay, to find their authentic selves and actually, you know, why do we have to, hey, honey, what do you think? Would you like to go out and have a good time on Friday night? No, I want a good time now. I want a good time right now. How about one right now? And how about this? Having a good time without the toking and the drinking and the eating foods that make us feel like crap. How about that? How about just, if we loved, honored, and respected and cared for ourselves, we wouldn't need all these stimulants to create a different personality, to create a different reality. Oh my God, isn't it great to have part-time love and part-time fun? I'm not into it. Not into it. I know I seem pretty serious, but guess what? My life revolves around joy, happiness, nature. And, you know, to help others that really want the help. There's a big lesson for every practitioner. Don't stick your nose in where it doesn't belong. But mind you, I'll have people coming on this platform and calling me down for some of the things that I've said here today. And guess what? I didn't come in your house. I didn't get in your head. You came on the platform. So now you know I'm toxic, so don't come back. And that's what people do, and they don't even know it. God loved them anyway. But the reality is, I said something that came up against one of their prominent, dominant beliefs, and then what they did was react, attack, react, attack. Does that sound like anything new? No, it happens every day, doesn't it? And then we get upset with the person that attacked us because I was only trying to be myself. So we have to let others be what they want to be. I need to allow people to attack me, because they can't help themselves. Do I go around attacking anybody? No, I will not do that, because then I'm going against everything I teach. Let your attackers come. And then guess what? Try to stay neutral, try not to react, and they'll just go and find someone else that they can feed off of. It's all just a test. It's all just a challenge, isn't it? Welcome to this life-threatening, fun-filled adventure called Planet Earth. And everything is meant to be difficult. So don't look at it as difficult. Look at it as an adventure that there's a whole group of people that were put in charge to screw you up. And smile. And because it's true. We know it's true. We know it's true. We wonder what happens to our kids, but then we give our kids to the government for at least 12 years. We wonder what happens to our kids when we put them into daycare so that the wife or the mother can go out and work to make the money to pay them. We wonder what happens to these people. You know, if I had to do it all again, my kids would not be going with anyone. I would have brought the babies to work, my gosh. I would have brought my babies to work. I would have. And today, you go try to do that one, everybody will just, oh my God, you know, fit in, you know. Oh my, they need an education. Hey, listen, if my kids can add, which they can't anymore, most kids can't add. If they can just do basic math and they can read and they can write and they've got a beautiful signature, okay, and they know and they understand finances because they came to work with me, and they also understood unconditional love and care, who's going to give that to them? No, they're going to go to school and then be told they can't poop until noon. They can't pee until noon. You can do it at recess. Let me tell you, in a minute, so you can tell the mood I'm in today, and I'm in this mood because my heart goes out to everyone out there, okay? Everyone out there that's having the same pain every day, because guess what? You don't understand. It's your personality that's made up of belief systems that aren't yours, that were programmed into you. And my heart goes out to you. All right? There are no stupid people. There are just really stupid beliefs. And they've been programmed into all of us. So what we do is we take a look at the majority, and because the majority rules, just like when somebody says, well, Mr. Jones, okay, like there's a gentleman coming on right now, he's got stage 4 prostate cancer. Well, Mr. Jones, you know what? You've got somebody of your age and somebody of your condition, and with our stats, let me look at the stats. Okay, yes, you've got about 6 weeks to get your affairs in order. Well, what if Mr. Jones, no matter what age he is, decides that he's the light of his life and that he knows that if he can create an illness on an unconscious level, he can create a healing? And what if they're wrong? Because guess what? I tell everyone, if you're going to go and they give you some kind of a diagnosis, go to 2 or 3 different people. How about the beautiful Dina? Okay, she's a practitioner, and she teamed up with Debbie, and they're putting on the New World Practitioner course in June that I'm doing, the Whole Life Coach certification and the Wolf Non-Surgical certification and the Women's Pelvic Restoration Masterclass 3-day class. Anyways, they're putting that on. How about she went to one doctor and they told her that she had suspicious cells, and then she went to another one and they said, no, they're not suspicious. You've just got lots of scar tissue in there. How about that? How about, I'm not trying to tell you, you go get all the tests you want. I'm never going to go get tests because every day is my test. Did I eat, drink, think high vibrationally in an unconditional love and caring way for myself? I know that. If I did it 80%, 85%, I nailed this. Most people, believe it or not, that say they have a good diet, a great diet even, actually 85% of their day is actually against them, because they don't understand it. It's not 8 glasses of water. That was a study that was never even performed. They just came up with 8 glasses of water. And they still come up with 8 glasses of water, and it's just water when it should be structured water, and it should be hydrogenated. Because guess what? Hydration is the key. And structured water, which, guess what? When do we have the cell power? When is that coming on? The 1 o'clock cell power?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Okay, tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we are doing cell power. And I, 1 o'clock?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I never get involved in these things, and this is not a Doc of Detox product, but understand something. If you get a structure unit, it'll never break down, and then you get tomorrow, come on and check out Cell Power, go to my website, and you do those 2 things, you're going to rock your world. I won't get into that right now. So anyways, let's move on. I'm going to talk about the highway of health. So just know this, that most of us were actually programmed to have only about 4 inches of intelligence. Can you keep it on me, please? Just keep it on me. Thank you very much, Rafa. So most of us only have 4 inches of intelligence going on. Intelligent eating. I didn't say you weren't intelligent, but intelligent eating. And the reality is that you've got 30 to 33 feet. So this being the front door and this being the back door. And this is a highway. I don't want to go into it in really deep detail because guess what? If you want to see a true masterclass, then go watch The Highway of Life in my library at docofdetox.com. It's a beautifully done, I think it is, well maybe you won't, but I promise you you'll learn more about from the mouth, which is the front door, to the back door, and that, you know, it's just one tube, and that guess what? The more potholes you have and the more construction that's going on, the more destruction that's going to happen to you. And the reality is most people do not look at the large intestine, okay? The large intestine as actually being the holy grail of healing, the holy grail. You know, it's this, life and death are in the large intestine, which is called the colon. And that's the truth. Because the large intestine is 85% of your immune system. It's also a compost. And depending what you put in your mouth here, it is something. You all talk about your stomach, right? Okay, here's your stomach. And that's just right underneath the left side of your ribs. But the reality is everybody goes, oh, my stomach's in pain. Well, it's not actually. You'll have stomach problems about 10%, 5% of the time. Most of the time it's actually from gas because you're rotting inside your large intestine. Every drug you take, and especially antibiotics, or any chemo pills, anything like that, okay? All of this stuff, it destroys and undermines your immune system. Now, I'm not telling you not to do it, but just remember, if you're gonna do it, you might wanna rebuild here. Anybody that gets radiation, understand it never leaves the body unless you do an advanced water fast. You did hear what I said, right? I have people that will come to me that had radiation and chemotherapy. It'll come out of them if they do an advanced water fast. And whether you believe it or not, it's the bloody chemo and the radiation that 3 to 5 years later, when you get that tail whipping in your face, it was the landmine that was in the issues in your tissues. You can't get chemotherapy, which is a form of mustard gas, and think it's going to be coming out of your body with a normal diet or just a regular detox. That's not going to happen. And the reality is too, is that I don't detox anymore. I let my body do it. See, the reality is I'm going to tell you a little story. So this happened about a year ago. I had a doctor come on my show, and he actually said, 1 second, please. I had a doctor come on my show, and he actually said to me, "You are a fraud." And I said, "Why am I a fraud?" He said, "Because guess what? The large intestine, the kidneys, the lymph system, the skin, the lungs, the liver, okay? They're all detoxification organs. The body is a detoxification organ. Why are you even selling detox products? And you call yourself the Doc of Detox?" And I go, well, the reality is I call myself the Doc of Detox because people need to understand something. That if they weren't taking poisonous things, if they weren't eating poisonous things and they weren't drinking poisonous things, and we were really part of Mother Nature, I'm out of a job. I'd be out of a job. There wouldn't be any infection to have the inflammation, to have the scar tissue formation, to have the calcification, to have the crystallization. I'm out of a job. And I really want you to put me out of a job. That's what I said to him. Put me out of a job. Start teaching people, because you're a doctor, start teaching people that it matters what they eat, drink, and think. Okay? And then start giving people things that are high vibrational and aren't just shutting down their symptoms to make them more comfortable on their way to surgery and to even worse drugs. I said, "Why don't you do that?" Well, conversation was over. I'm not trying to be a smarty here, because I don't consider myself that smart, but I am logical. And the logic is yes, the body was created to handle anything that was given to it that was based on unconditional love and care. And don't you dare tell me that that a supermarket or even a health food store even looks like that today. And then we got the corner stores, the vaping, the alcohol, okay, and everything else. Oh, and the celebrations. Every celebration is contamination. So I'm not putting it down. I'm trying to tell you something. That the rabbit hole goes down deep, and I'm not trying to overload you today. Read the book. Take it a step at a time. You cannot jump 3 stairs at once. You can hurt yourself. But if you were to take and just do 1% a day, 1%, anybody can do 1% a day. Okay, I'm going to get the Perfect Day Guide today, and I'm going to read, okay, the first chapter, 20 pages, whatever that is. I don't know, I made that up. And then tomorrow night, I'm going to go watch Highway to Life, or I'm going to go and watch The Holy Grail, The Large Intestine. And then I'm going to make notes, and then I'm going to call Dr. Wolf up on his show, and I'm going to challenge him. Because if I challenge him, then guess what? That'll be helping me challenge myself. Because you know what? You need to challenge. You need to be a detective for yourself and for everything else that's coming to you. Be a detective. You know, it's just like I love all these guys. Okay, let me just tell you something right now. I am going to put a meme together, but I don't think it's going to happen. Not tomorrow, but the next day. I'm going to post this thing for you, and I'm going to show you something. Listen, I am not against anybody, but I need you to understand this. I mean, people can't handle the truth. The main players, I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm just trying to tell you, we are so in the dark. The main players of COVID all have dual citizenship. That's right. And what is the other citizenship? All of them. American and Israel. All dual citizenship. All the COVID players that did this thing. I hope I don't get the show taken down. And I'm not picking on the people. But how many people out there know that the Rothschilds actually created Israel? Why don't you do your homework? They created Israel out of nothing. And do you know why they created Israel? Because it's right in a really important place. How could a small country like this have all that power? My love goes to everyone in Israel and everywhere else in the world. So let me make that perfectly clear. Let's not make the people on the ground the bad guys ever again. Let's never attack families and children and homes and schools and cities ever again. But that'll never happen until you stop attacking yourself. Take it step at a time. Get my perfect day guide. Do a few pages. Write your questions down. My phone number is 469-861-8884. Whether you believe it or not, I love talking to people. I don't want to talk to them because I want them to follow me. I want them to fall in love with themselves internally. I want them to protect, respect themselves, because when they do that, they'll look at the world differently. Let's see if we got some questions, because I'm going to take a little break, okay? Because I think that I kind of went a little deep today, okay? I'm going to have, and I got to tell you something. I think what really flip-flopped me today was a story about a mother and her 3-month-old little girl. And I told her I would not talk about it, but I'll be talking to them and helping them. But the reality is this, you know, where's the love? Okay, let's see here. We've got questions. Okay, can you do me a favor? We need a bigger platform here. Can you move that, please? And let me just see, I'll just move this to there. That's fine. And can you move the other computer over here? Thanks, Carla. You know, we should blow the budget and get a bigger table. What do you think? Talk to Connie and tell her to blow the budget. Okay? I'm kidding. Okay? All right, can you put it back on the questions? Because I lost it. I pushed the wrong button. You know what I'm like. Okay. All right, here we go. Now, these all say Facebook, right? Now, we supposedly have Rumble, TikTok. I know, but why do we only have mainly just Facebook questions here? We don't have anything else. It just says Facebook. So are we actually getting the questions from these other platforms? Look into it, please. Don't answer it. Go do your homework, because if there's actually people sending us, because I've never seen one from TikTok, and they must have questions. So I need you to look into it. Call Drake when we're done, and then let's do our detective work and make sure that we're not pretending to do something. Do you understand? Yes. They only say Facebook. So let me just check it out. Okay. I have noticed on the supplement I have of yours that there are no expiry dates. At least I can find them. Can you please address this matter? Well, because guess what? If it's humic fulvic, I want you to tell you something. It's probably 10,000 to 100,000 years old. You do know that there are products that don't expire. You do know that, right? You do know that there's a chokehold from the FDA and the Health Protection Branch on every health company in the world. You do know that I have expiry dates on my products, but they don't expire until you open them. You do know that, right? No, you don't know that. They don't expire. So I'm not, okay, like I'm going to tell you right now, you know my daily cleansing tea? So I made my daily cleansing tea, okay, with a master herbalist. He no longer is with us. And I did that when I was 28 years old. We put that tea together. And we still have it today. And nobody's been able to copy it. How's that? Pretty crazy, eh? Now the reality is, I found tea bags 2 years ago. 2 years ago. We met and made that tea because the tea only goes bad. It doesn't go bad. The tea only goes bad if it gets wet. There's your answer. And it's a truthful answer. We don't have to put expiry dates on everything. And understand something, everything is about controlling. Do you know what people mainly do? Dr. Wolf? Yes. My 2-month-old baby. What things are dangerous for my baby to take? Nothing. I wouldn't give it curcumin cayenne because the cayenne might irritate it, so let's leave that alone. Okay, but there's nothing dangerous about any, I'm not allowed to sell dangerous products. I'd have to be a medical doctor, thank you, and I'm not trying to be a smarty here. But you know, if I was a medical doctor, I could sell things that are toxic. Yes or no? I'm not allowed to do that, and I wouldn't do that. Does my vibe even go that direction? So I am not going to sell something because I'm into it for the money. I'm going to sell it because it is the best product on the market. And if I can find a product that I carry right now that's better than the one I have, I will drop it. I will drop it. There's a couple products that we're letting go of because we have found better ones. So that doesn't happen a lot, but I'm going to do it. I will prove to everyone that I never did this for the money, but the money helps me to create the platforms, the PDG guide to give it away, right? We give the digital guide free. We charge $95, which is the cost on this, to deliver right to your door. There's no profit there. Do I make profit on my products? Yes, I do, but I'll tell you something right now. We understand the cries of everyone. You ever see anybody do the sales we're doing? I'm not going to stop these sales. We're going to make less money, but we're not going to stop doing the sales. We'll have a sale every week where we'll be putting something on sale. And we'll be doing it so people can stock up at the very best price. I'm going to do everything I can to help and support everybody. But understand something. You were programmed, okay? I was programmed. Everybody's been programmed. Alicia, I find it ridiculous as well. Some days I just want to go fishing too, LOL. So many just don't get it. And you know what? It's not the right time. And this is where we need to be very compassionate, because everybody has their time to get it, and people will get it eventually, but it's not for us to push them. It's for us to learn patience. I mean, it's really not a great thing if your partner doesn't want to grow internally or change, or know that it's not a husband and wife thing. It's got to be two spirits coming together to just have the greatest adventure and the most beautiful time and working together to be there. That's the God's truth. Understand something. You can't wake people up. You ever wake somebody up in the middle of the night? It's not good. And guess what? You don't want to crack someone's coconut from the inside out. That's like cracking a baby's egg. Like a bird, baby bird's egg. You crack it from the outside, the baby dies. It cracks from the inside out, the baby thrives. So we don't want to go in and crack their coconut unless they're ready. And that's the truth, and that's a lesson I had to learn to mind my own business. Do you know, okay, so we know right now that depending where you go, okay, that people are stiff. We know that right now 40% of the population limps because their back, low back is so frozen, their hips are frozen, okay? And their pelvis is inflamed because they're pooping into their pelvis. And I could say it all day, you're pooping in your pelvis, pooping in pelvis, pooping in your pelvis. And people are just like, oh God, please. No, I'm not. I've always been like this. Everything's just great. When people come on the platform, I'm going to give them the information when they come to my lectures. We'll give them the information. Those people that come to my Whole Life Coach or the Wolf Non-Surgical or the Pelvic Restoration Masterclass for Women, we'll bring the thunder down. We will surpass anything that you believe you were going to get. And if we don't, we'll live up to our money-back guarantee on it. We will. We will. I'll do it. But you'll know if it's for you. You'll know when it's your time. It doesn't matter how much you love someone. It doesn't mean that you can change them. Yeah, but I'm married to them. What am I going to do? I don't know. We all kind of have that predicament at a certain time in our lives where we want to fly and they just want to go, I'm staying here where it's safe. I'm scared of heights. What are you going to do? Okay, you're going to fly anyway, because you may give them courage and love them anyway. That's what you're going to do. Yep, I sat in my chair, this is Sandra, in the kindergarten, wouldn't let me go to the restroom to go. Well, that's the first thing. Just know this. Teachers are not teachers, okay? All right? All right? Okay? They're jail keepers. They are. I mean, I can remember like 2 teachers that I really loved, but I didn't love what they were teaching me. I just loved their vibration and how they must have felt penned in. Seriously, I just want to be a teacher. I love kids. I just want to be a teacher. I love kids. Oh my God, I'm programmed. Now what am I going to do? I spent all that money on becoming a teacher. And guess what? And oh well, at least I get the summers off. Okay. So I peed in my pants and then got a knuckle pounded on the top of my head. And this was the Catholic school. Crazy. Let me tell you something. Yeah, really. Really, seriously. Okay. Yeah. The Vatican is the biggest money launderer and everything that you don't like about the world. Yeah, isn't that something? Whatever. You believe in whatever you want to believe. Whatever. It's out there if you want to know. But I can't handle it. I can't. Wear blinders then. This lifetime I can't do it. I'm just going to wear blinders. If people want to wear blinders, don't rip them off, okay? Because they might just crack up. You can't give information to people that they're not ready for. I already told you that. You can believe it or not, but guess what? You're going to be able to tell me I'm wrong. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? You'll be able to tell me in 2 years that I'm wrong, that 99 out of 100 people could not process what's going to happen in the next 3 years. How was that? You'll be able to do it within 2 years. Daryl, you were wrong. You're wrong. Oh, really? We'll find out if I'm wrong. Okay, and I don't want to be right. I don't want to be right. There's no wrong and right. There is, I'd like to try to just tell you that I've found something out, and I'd like to tell you that you need to prepare. How do I do that? Well, you've got to reprogram your subconscious that was programmed not to be able to handle chaos and crises, because if you're not able to stay in the present moment and own it, stay connected to your breath and understand, have logic, it's not going to be good. That's it. Overproduction, Monica, overproduction of sebum in head cause greasy hair and clogged pores. It's actually liver. It's your liver. It's your liver. It's your liver. And that is usually caused, it can be because too much fatty foods, greasy foods, or it can happen when you're detoxifying. And understand something. A lot of that grease can actually be created from anxiety and stress. And the main one is anger. Anger is stored in the liver. And that's what people who have gallstones and gallbladder attacks, it's suppressed anger. I'm not angry. Well, you are. You're angry because you feel you've been shortchanged with love or shortchanged in your life. You suppress things. You don't talk about things. Yeah, it's true. Gallstones are made out of cholesterol and calcium. And anxiety causes the pulling of calcium from one's bones to try to keep your pH balanced in your blood. And the actual extra cholesterol is caused because you actually are terrorizing yourself and pulling the nutrients and dehydrating your arteries, and there's cracks in them. So instead of a little calcium molecule getting into the crack and creating a blood clot that can cause a stroke or a heart attack, your body makes cholesterol to goop up the cracks, which is like candle wax. The ultimate coffee enema is really the way to go on this one. Okay, purge that liver. I would be doing 2 a day if I had really greasy hair. Okay, but suppressed anger is a real wham bam. I know people that have good diets, and you can see in their personality they have suppressed anger, and their hair gets greasy really quick. Okay, Nelson, how to get rid of parasites and find the milk and honey? Well, I will tell you this much, that we did have people, when I owned the North American Institute for the Advancement of Colon Therapy, and when parasites would start coming out of people, I'd never told anybody to do that since, gee whiz. Let me see, how old was I? I think I was 28 years old, and I had this lady, okay, and and she had tapeworms, and I told her, and this is a true story, so I know it's going to sound crazy. I said, sit in a dark room and warm up some milk and put honey in it, or just sugar, and sit there, okay, all right? And believe it or not, she called me up. This is a true story. I'm telling you, this is the truth. And she lived in a place called Peggy's Cove, and I was probably about half an hour, 40 minutes away from her, and that was in Nova Scotia. And she said, Dr. Wolf, I've got a tapeworm, and it's about 3 or 4 inches outside of my butt. Please come and help me get rid of it. And I'm going, no, that's not going to happen. That's up to you. You're going to have to do that. And I'm not saying that you should do the milk and honey thing. I will tell you that 99% of all parasites are not eaten. It's not the eggs eaten. It's you created them, because parasites, even if they can destroy your life, they will be created to save your life until they start destroying it, because you're rotten to the core. So wherever you may find parasites in the body, it's because you have issues in your tissues. And the tissue integrity, if you had tissue integrity, you don't have parasites. So you better get that. So, you know, parasite cleanses, it's the same thing as our heavy metal. Black diamond, black gold, daily cleansing tea, curcumin cayenne 5000. And if you were to do those on a daily basis, you would never do a parasite cleanse. You don't even have to do the curcumin cayenne if you don't want, but even if you do one of those twice a day, you do the black diamond in your drinking water, do the black gold, 1 teaspoon to 2 teaspoons a day of the black gold in the daily cleanse. You're not going to have parasites. And you're never going to get rid of parasites if you have low vibrational thoughts about yourself, evil thoughts about yourself, sick thoughts about yourself, because the invisible creates the physical. So you can do all the physical parasite cleansing you want, but if you're not emotionally loving and caring for yourself, you're screwed anyways. Okay, because if you have really toxic, twisted thoughts, then you're going to have a toxic, twisted body. That's what comes. I mean, you know, the invisible becomes the physical, the psychological rules the biological, and the reality is I don't care. I could eat a bunch of worms in something, but I'm not going to do it. If you eat raw fish, you got worms. Just know that. Sushi, you got raw worm. You do. That's it. Cerveci, you've got parasites. You don't do that. Nobody eats raw fish. You just don't do it. You know, if you can eat raw fish and it was the right temperature, wrong time of the year, a fish will have parasites if the water's too warm. And the reality is this, I'm never going to do it. I'm never going to have raw fish. I don't care how good people tell me it is. I'm not doing it, okay? Yes, I know the truth about that place called Israel. And we love you talking to us, Monica. Thank you. I'm on page 69 of the PDG. It's 100% on point. Thank you. That's Alicia. Heather says it doesn't expire. Well, you know, we are controlled by the FDA. See who sits on the board of the FDA. Thank you. Hello, Dr. Wolf. How to fix a liver mutation? High iron in blood. Thank you so much. Well, you're not going to have that if you fix your bowels and the liver. So you need to do the bowel cleanse. I just talked about that, which is the parasite cleanse. I told the products. I just said it. It's in the PDG guide. And the liver mutation, it's called the Ultimate Coffee Enema twice a day. And listen, sweetie, if you want to give me a call, 469-861-8884, I swear I'll call you back, I'll lay it out for you, and I'll show you why. I'll show you why. Mutations in the liver, emotionally, anger. The mutations in the liver, okay, are going to be sugar, dairy, okay, well, you know, the whole list. Anything that's man-made irritation, okay? And I said sugar. I didn't say honey. I did not say maple syrup, okay? I said sugar. Okay, sugar is one of the worst evil poisons on this planet. That's why it's poured into everything. And the reason why we love it so much is because we want that dopamine, serotonin dumping to feel good. And the reality is, if you just connected to your breath and you smiled and say, that which created the whole universe loves me unconditionally, and walk around with that. And know that when you make a mistake, it's just a mistake. And you're going to have to make that mistake over and over again until you perfect it. Oh my God. The people that raised me, are you like crazy? They had no patience for me. When I first had children, I had no patience for them either, because I didn't have patience for me, so we don't have patience for them. Now I've got the patience of Job. Hey, listen, it's like this. If you want to keep doing that, you can, but don't do it in my presence and don't do it in my house. I get it. You're not strong enough yet to break this. I love you anyway. I have really, really dry hair. Well, no, you don't have dry hair. You have lack of essential fatty acids. If you were to take a minimum of 10 of my ocean essentials, which are not fish oil, because fish oil is the worst digestion. Our ocean essentials, the absorption is 400% better than fish oil, and you'll never burp them up. That's why people burp up fish oil. They can't digest it well. And take C60, take MCT oil C60, 1 teaspoon 3 times a day, and tell me you have dry hair. And then when you do get the MCT C60, just take a little bit in your hand and then put it in your hair and give your hair a little bit of oil. But that your body should have been oiling your hair. Okay, you're so dry because you're brittle. And understand you don't have enough essential fatty acids. Also, take a look at eating coconut milk. Take a look at avocado for essential fatty acids. You should be doing half an avocado a day. And if you want to, half an avocado twice a day. Usually a whole avocado is a little bit much for some people because it is a fatty protein starch, so it's a meal all in one. That's why it's not great to mix it with other proteins and other things. It can be too heavy. But a little bit of lemon or lime and a Himalayan or real salt on there, then just get yourself a knife and a fork and know that you're eating, it's as healthy as a piece of steak. Well, way healthier than a piece of steak. It has everything a piece of steak has and more, okay? What causes bruising? Cindy. Healthy people don't bruise. People that have contaminated blood and issues in their tissues bruise, okay? Okay, you're an overripe piece of fruit. That means that you're going bad. A ripe piece of fruit, you can drop it, it might dent, but it won't bruise. And the reality is that you are pooping in your pelvis forever and a day, okay? And you are pooping in your pelvis, and you've got autoimmune disease, which means you have leaky gut, which means that antibiotics or sugars or you eat a lot of animal products that have, like all the chicken, if it's not free-range organic, gets antibiotics every day in its food. The cows, the pigs, the goats, I don't care, whatever animal you want. And they call that prevention, but it's not really for prevention. It's actually to destroy your immune system. Thank you very much. We don't need antibiotics going into any products. Thank you very much. Okay? It's like, think about it. Okay, everybody, we just had a major breakthrough. We need everybody to take a little bit of antibiotics every day because you're going to be so much healthier for it. Ridiculous, ridiculous. And you won't stop bruising until guess what? Guess what? Now, I'm not saying in all cases, but on an emotional level, you're pretty bruised. Somebody can say things to you and you get hurt pretty fast, girl. And the reality is you don't eat well and you need to cleanse out your colon and your liver and you'll see a difference. And you need to get structured cell power water right away. But then, I don't know, do you have any value? Most people go, oh my God, that's expensive. I'm not going to buy that. I'm not going to buy that. A structure unit, you know, we can't put them on sale because they'll shut us down. But when we put them on sale, then we give you a credit. And I will do a deal. And I'm not going to do it now because I'm going to do a show. It's tomorrow at 1 o'clock on Cell Power, which is the greatest energy medicine device for frequency, light, and hydrogen that's been put together. I'm not kidding. So I'm doing that show at 1 o'clock tomorrow. If you do structured water and you do that, you better invest in somewhere. You know, do you know why I moved down to Mexico? I could give you a million different reasons, okay? And there was never inside my head, oh, I would love to live there, but I can't. Well, we can't. Don't use the word can't. I would love to live there, but you had to go and do it, didn't you? I can't. Okay, that was your subconscious. Why can't you? Well, I want to wait until my grandchildren are grown. Okay, I want to wait for this. I want to wait for that. You know what? I'm very particular about my environment. As you will see, I'll show you the place that I'm creating. We have 2 long-term leases, like long-term leases here. A long-term lease on our personal treatment and training, which is it's such a beautiful place. And we have the best energy medicine in the world, a saltwater structured pool. We have everything there. Organic juicing, everything. We have everything provided for people when they come here. Check out DOD5star.com if you want a real holiday, if you want a real healing. And I mean that. And just remember, you are the healer. I'm just going to show you how to get there like a rocket. Okay? Sonia, this will be the last question that I answer. I have to get ready for the next show. And then it's off to work I go. I am actually going to be writing a chapter right now called The Eternal Now. It's funny, you know. I want everybody to understand that the things I do right now, I do them for my growth. I do them for my growth. And that growth is all spirit. I'm not a spiritual guy. I don't even like the word spiritual. It's almost like a religion. And I'm not downing anyone that used the word. It's just it doesn't vibe with me. I'm feeding my spirit to heal my body. I'm feeding my spirit. I'm going to recognize my spirit because that is what's eternal. Okay? That's what's eternal, and I need to do that. And no matter what happens here on this physical plane, I can't take it personal. But the reality is this. There's the leaves that come and go. There's the branches that can hold you to a certain degree. But then there's the root people, okay, that'll always be there for you. And there's not going to be a lot of them. Get over it. It's nothing against you. It wasn't their direction they wanted to go. Wouldn't it be something if you filled up your own heart? If you were your own best friend from the beginning until the end? Wouldn't it be great if you did not react and attack? Wouldn't it be great if you didn't, beat yourself up or someone else and then look to forgiving yourself or forgiving them to get back to normal? What's normal? Being in alignment. Stop being an emotional roller coaster. And this is all they know is if they can keep you to being an emotional roller coaster, and they can get you to eat, drink, and think and say anything. If you know someone won't change their diet or thoughts, yet you still get them on the nutraceuticals. Father-in-law, 79, dizzy. He can't drive anymore, high sensitivity, eye issues. I was going to order him nano drops and a few products. Yeah, get him on the nutraceuticals. And that's not because you're giving me money. I'm always going to tell you not to waste your money. If you believe that he will do the nutraceuticals, then do it. But you need to say, I love you, Grandpa, or I love you, Grandpa, but guess what? I want you to try these. Will you try them for me? No, then don't buy them. Will you try them for me? No, I'll try them for myself. And will you promise me that if you don't use them, you'll just give them back so that I can use them because I really love them, and because I love them, I want you to have them. That's how I would do it. And then he's going to be honest with you, isn't he? I want to gift you. I want to gift you with something that I believe is going to make you more comfortable and help your eyesight. Would you take it if I bought it for you? Yes. If you decide not to take it, will you give it back to me? Because I utilize these products. Don't say these products cost a lot of money, even if they don't cost a lot of money, or they do cost a lot of money. That's not the point. The point is you don't put a price tag on it. Remember something, when you give somebody a gift, if they take that gift and they destroy it, you cannot react and attack. And I learned that a long time ago. If I want to help someone out and they don't thank me, they don't appreciate it, I can't take that personal. Love anyway, and then go help those that will appreciate your energy, your time. It may not be your family, it may not be your lover who's under the cover, but it better be you to start off with. I feel he's ready to listen. And guess what? Don't get me wrong, Sonia, but if you want, hey, we have this opportunity. I think I could get Dr. Wolf on the line, and he could explain things to you. I'll spend 10 minutes with him, Sonia. No more than that. Don't get me wrong, Sonia, but you know, somebody saying the same thing comes across differently. If you need my help, I'm here for you. Okay? Because guess what? Everybody matters. I don't want to leave anybody behind except those people that say, I need to stay behind. I'm not ready yet. I want to thank you for joining me, but I need to go have a break. And then I got to put on a different shirt. Okay? All right? So that people don't think it's the same show. And it's off to work we go. It's not work, though. I love it. And I want to thank you for joining me. Just remember this. When we come together, we're stronger. Braveheart. God bless.